Hello, my dear viewers. I would like to welcome you to part 5 of this our discussion on the subject of biblical romance, the relationship between a man and his wife. And today, this is number 5, and we have already discussed 4. I don't want to go back to review anything. I'm just going to continue from where we are. We're looking at the Song of Songs. Now, I want to imagine Adam and Eve in the garden, the first marriage. And this couple are coming together. They have never experienced a man or a woman. So they're just coming together and God is there officiating. It's like, what am I supposed to do with this person? Or what am I supposed to do with this person? And possibly it could be with you if you have kept yourself chaste or unpolluted by fornication or any adultery. When you're coming together, it's like this is going to be a new experience. And the Bible does not leave us out there to try to wonder, what am I going to do? How is it going to be? That's why we have the Song of Songs. And I know that most people, as soon as they read the book, they just want to spiritualize it. And what I say often is, don't try to be holier than God, okay? If God let this book be in the Bible to describe the romantic relationship between a man and a woman, let it be so. Let's not pretend about anything. So right here in the Song of Songs, all the gloves are off, everything is off, and in much of the description that we have here, we're talking about naked bodies. And I mean, some of you may be like, oh no. Well, that's okay. If you are not called to marriage, that's fine. You can turn this off and go and hide in your room. But if you're in marriage and you intend to marry, this is something that you want to know and to learn about. In this particular episode here, we're going to be looking at men appreciate the beauty of your wife. Appreciate the beauty of your wife and let her know. Speak about it to her. I know that in every culture we have our ideas of what beauty is, and so it could be just a cultural thing, or like we say, beauty is in the eyes of the beholder, where you can look a person and they are wonderful and beautiful, and another person look at them and they don't see it. But what I want to mention is that you can appreciate the beauty of a man, of a woman, or the handsomeness of a man without any sexual thoughts in you. Otherwise, we will never function as a society. But when it comes to the person you love, there are some physical characteristics about them that attract you to them. Anyway, as far as I'm concerned, I have 3 characteristics of a beautiful woman. The first one is her character. The second one is her character. And the third one is her character. Whatever else comes from that is an outplay of that inner beauty that blossoms and, is radiant that I can see. So what we're saying here is, men, appreciate your woman, be verbal, and express your love for her. And looking at the Song of Songs here, so I'm going to limit myself to the Song of Songs. We can discuss other things later. I said, looking at his wife, what did he see? What did he feel? What did he smell? What did he hear? Note that, that involves the senses. So note that very well. You're looking at your wife, or I'm looking at my wife. What do I see? What do I hear? What do I smell? That's what goes on in the book here. And I'm just going to read the book too and make a few comments so that you can know that I'm talking from the book. Chapter 1, verses 9 to 11. The man saw beautiful cheeks, a neck like a tower built with elegance and jewelry. So you go from cheeks to a neck. That's what is here. Maybe to some people, it's like, that's not what I'm looking forward. That's not what I'm thinking about or looking forward to. Well, that means you have a lot to learn, because a woman is beautiful in many ways than just being with you in bed. That's the limit to romance. You're missing it. So it says here, I liken you, my darling, to a mare. A mare is a female horse. Among Pharaoh's chariot horses, your cheeks are beautiful with earrings, your neck with strings of jewels. He sees her as a unique woman among thousands or even millions, to the point that he can see her at a long distance and can push through a crowd and say, I see the back of her head. I know who that is. She is a unique one among the women, a rose of Sharon, a lily of the valley. Now there's something here we have to correct, because people call Jesus the Rose of Sharon. No, Jesus is not the Rose of Sharon. It is the woman that is a Rose of Sharon, the lily of the valley. Maybe this is why roses are romantic flowers. There may be a lot behind the story, but I don't know, or I don't want to go into that. But he sees her like a rose, the Rose of Sharon, the lily in the valley. And that's how she sees herself too. So, I mean, you can give a woman roses, but the reality is that she is already a rose. I'll leave it at that. Chapter 2, verses 1. It says, I am a rose of Sharon, a lily in the valleys. And then the man says, like a lily among thorns is my darling among the young women. Say it to her. Do you feel like that? Her voice is sweet to him. Is your wife's voice sweet to you? Is her face lovely? And maybe I'll put it this other way to the ladies. Is your voice sweet enough that your husband wants to hear you? Or is your voice full of nagging and complaining to the point where he's like, oh yeah, she's talking again? Is that the point? Or are you sweet that when he hears you, he's like, hello, is that you? Is that your voice? Is that your voice? And then he wants to come closer to listen to you. So chapter 2 verse 14 says, my dove, in the clefts of the rock, in the hiding places on the mountainside, show me your face. Let me hear your voice, for your voice is sweet and your face is lovely. Your voice is sweet and your face is lovely. How excited is he to hear your voice? Now think about that. I'm talking to the ladies. Do you have a sweet voice that your husband is like, yeah, that's my darling I am hearing? Or is he like, oh, not again, it's her. What else does he see? I make a summary here. So he sees eyes behind the veil, hair like the flock of goats, teeth like a flock of sheep just shone. So even your teeth, my lady, I source of attraction. I guess you gotta keep them clean or something. Her lips like the scarlet ribbon, lovely mouth. Her lips and a lovely mouth. Temples like the halves of a pomegranate. And her breasts like two fawns of a gazelle, like clusters of fruit to be harvested. Her tongue, and yes, her garden too. There are two gardens in the Song of Songs. The woman is a garden. And then, in the middle of her body is a garden. That's her. you know. Chapter 4, verse 16 says this: Awake, not wind. This is the lady speaking. Awake, not wind, and come. South wind blew on my garden, that its fragrance may spread everywhere. Let my beloved come into his garden and test his choice fruits. Now, ladies, this is Bible. If you don't like the Bible, you can close this and you turn this off. Imagine you're in the bedroom and you're talking with your garden, talking to your garden, telling the wind to blow in your garden. In those days, we didn't live, there was no airtight houses. I said it in the past. In our days, say here in America, where we live in airtight houses, put a fan in the bedroom to blow around. You can say, fan, I want you to blow by my garden. So that when my husband steps into the door, he's drunk with love. And he's like, where are you? This is the word. Now imagine this as the first marriage lecture in the Garden of Eden, when God is saying, Adam, that's your woman. Eve, that's your man. You know, I like reading this at weddings, right? So that the couple will know. This is how, I was going to say, this is how you play the game. No, this is how you, the romantic relationship goes. In chapter 6, verses 4 to 9, I hope you get that point right. Let me read it again. I'm speaking on your behalf, lady. Know that. He said, awake, not wind, and come, south wind, blow on my garden. I've already let you know where the garden is. That its fragrance may spread everywhere in the room. Ooh, let my beloved come into his garden and test his choice fruits. I guess there is some tasty fruit in that garden where you really know they're tasty and you're telling him, beloved, I got some really choice fruits for you here. Would you come in and test the fruits from my garden? Chapter 6, verses 4 to 9. He says, now listen, men, I'm talking about men. How delightful you are about your wife, and you should express it to her with words, loving words. He said, you are as beautiful as Tirzah, my darling, as lovely as Jerusalem, as majestic as troops with banners. Turn your eyes from me. They overwhelm me. Turn your eyes from me. They overwhelm me. Your hair is like a flock of goats descending from Gilead. Your teeth are like a flock of sheep coming up from the washing. Each has its twin. Whoa. I guess you don't have to be in a dark room with your wife, right? There has to be light so you can see her teeth. Let me put it like that. So your temples behind your veil are like the halves of a pomegranate. 60 queens there may be, and 80 concubines, and virgins beyond number. But my dove, my perfect one, is unique, the only daughter of her mother, the favorite of the one who bore her. Listen carefully. There are other beautiful women. That's what the man is saying. There may be 80 of them. There may be concubines floating all over around. There may be virgins without number. But you are unique, my darling. You are the one for me. Right, men? Stop looking around. The young women saw her and called her blessed. The queens and the concubines praised her. So not only he's looked at her temples, her neck, her body, her cheeks, and now is going down to her legs. Like legs like jewels. Legs like jewels. Actually, my wife has very beautiful legs. Now, don't try to see them and don't ask me, how do beautiful legs look like? I know how my beautiful legs look like. So it's up to you to know or to appreciate her beautiful legs. Now, we're talking about biblical romance here. I'm reading from the Song of Songs, not somewhere. Say her navel like a rounded goblet. Okay, so her navel like a rounded goblet. You can't see her navel unless you can see her navel. Her waist like a mound of wheat, circled by lilies. Her waist. So, ladies, you have to understand this, right? You have to put yourself in a way like twirl around in front of your husband so that he can see everything around you. If it's so plain outside in the living room, you can twirl around in your bedroom so you can even drink from your navel. So, okay. Yeah, it says a navel is like a rounded goblet. A goblet is something you drink from, son, right? So your navel is so that you can drink from it. Oh, maybe. Her waist like a mound of wheat encircled by lilies, her nose like the tower of Lebanon, her head crowns her like a mount, like Mount Carmel, her breath like the fragrance of apples, breath, her mouth like the best wine. Now, let's look at chapter 7, verses 1 to 9. And we will round this up. Chapter 7, verse 1 to 9. Listen carefully. You, the man, this is your business. I say, appreciate your wife and speak tenderly to her beauty and confirm it and laud it. How beautiful your sandaled feet, O princess daughter. Your graceful legs are like jewels, the work of a craftsman's hand. Well, I guess God is the craftsman and built her uniquely for you to appreciate her beauty. Your navel is a rounded goblet that never lacks blended wine. Whew. Your navel is a rounded goblet that never lacks blended wine. So you drink continuously. Your waist is a mound of wheat encircled by lilies. Your breasts are like two fawns, twins of a gazelle. And your neck like an ivory tower. Your eyes are like the pools of Heshbon by the gate of Beth Rabbim. Your nose is like the tower of Lebanon, looking towards Damascus. Your head crowns you like Mount Carmel. Your hair is like royal tapestry. The king is held captive by its tresses. How beautiful you are, and how pleasing, oh love, with your delight. Your stature is like that of the palm, and your breasts like clusters of fruit. I said, I will climb the palm tree. I will take hold of his fruit. May your breast be like the clusters of the vine, the fragrance of your breath like apples, and your mouth like the best wine. You know, for those of you who have seen a palm tree, the palms grow right up there. He says your breasts are like the clusters of a palm tree. And you sitting there like a man, you're like, okay, I got to climb the palm tree now and harvest. And harvest its clusters. The book of Proverbs 7 says, may our breasts satisfy you at all times. Well, I guess if God is speaking this way, he knows exactly what is there. Nobody else should even teach you. God is teaching you. That's who you are. That's what it should be. And that's how you should delight in your woman. Okay, enough said, right? Conclusion here. I ask the question, my ladies, how do you welcome him home? If you're home and he's coming home, how do you welcome him home? With a nagging voice? Stamping your feet? Or do you like go to the door and how do I put it? And give him an embrace that sends something down his spine like, oh, I'm just welcome home to my darling. And I say something here. You ladies, maybe you're gonna come after me. I say, as he comes home and you give him an embrace, you better be bra-less. So that you can actually inject him with those tranquilizers and calm him down and bring him to the chair and let him sit. And you can sit on him a little bit. And then before you go to the kitchen or whatever, or ask him about his day and sweetly, and I like, how long is the kiss? 2 minutes, 3 minutes, 2 seconds, 5 seconds, 20 seconds, 30 seconds, 1 minute, however long. And then you set the tune of the romantic evening in ways and modes throughout the entire evening. Now I say something here that when we were growing up as children, there was a kind of a stone, looked like quartz or something, that if you take it and you keep rubbing it together, it's going to produce fire. If you have some straw around it, it will produce fire. But you have to rub it together. So by the time he comes home, like this stone, you have to start rubbing the stone so that it will eventually produce fire when fire is needed, right? Whether it's in the kitchen, doing dishes, you got to be there doing dishes, and she's passing around and bumping you as if she was running into you, but not quite. Or you're doing the dishes, she's leaning over you pretending like, hey, you're not doing these dishes well, but just an excuse to like touch you. Now ladies, you have to be wonderful in your craft, so you keep rubbing the stone. If he tries to neglect you, that's fine. If he's looking at TVs, that's fine. Tell him you're sleeping in the garage tonight. Get his attention. Sit on him. Block him. Anyway, that's Bible. Thank you for listening, and I'll talk to you next time.